Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to unlock one of the most transformative technologies out there right now: large language models, or as you've probably heard them called, LLMs. That term is everywhere, and in the next few minutes, we're going to give you a super clear, concise guide to what it all means and, why you should actually care. So let's dive right in. And this really gets to the heart of it. We're exploring the technology that's redefining human computer interaction. And look, this isn't just another software update or a new app. It's a fundamental tectonic shift in how we actually talk to and work with machines. So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about why this is the next big tech revolution. Then, we'll get right to it. What even is an LLM? After that, we'll take a quick trip back in time on its 70-year journey. Then, we'll see how LLMs mean business. And finally, we'll chart out your path to getting started with AI. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the next tech revolution. Because here's the thing, this is about why LLMs matter to everyone, not just the tech wizards or the people in the server room. Think about it this way. On one side, you've got your seasoned data scientists, right? They're trying to stay on the absolute cutting edge. But on the other side, you've got business leaders, folks with maybe not so much technical background, who are just trying to deliver real value. LLMs are one of those incredibly rare technologies that actually builds a bridge between those two worlds. It speaks both languages. Which brings us right to the big question in Section 2. What is an LLM, really? Let's pull back the curtain and demystify the tech that's behind all this buzz. So, officially, a large language model is an AI specifically built to understand, generate, and just generally work with human language. But think bigger than just processing a simple command. This tech is enabling totally new breakthroughs in how we communicate, create, and work with our computers. You know what? Here's a great way to think about it. It's like a supercharged autocomplete. Your phone might suggest the next word when you're texting a friend. Well, an LLM can write the entire email, or the marketing plan, or even a piece of code. It's predictive, yeah, but on this massive, incredibly creative scale. And I'm willing to bet you've already come across some of these, models like GPT-4, and of course its famous cousin ChatGPT, along with open source options like Dolly. These are the actual engines that are driving this whole revolution forward. But this tech didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Section 3 takes us on a pretty wild 70-year journey to see how these models actually came to be. It's kind of crazy to think that the core ideas started way back in the 1950s with machine translation. And for decades, it was just the steady, slow progress. But then, in the 2020s, something called the transformer architecture came along. This new approach was a total game changer, allowing models to understand context over huge amounts of text. It was a slow burn that just suddenly exploded into what we have today. Okay, so we've got the definition, we've got the history. Now for the really important question. What can you actually do with it? In Section 4, we're going to see how LLMs mean business and how folks are tapping into their full potential. And this is where the rubber really meets the road. Businesses are finally unlocking insights from all that messy, unstructured text they have. Suddenly, thousands of customer reviews can be summarized in seconds. They're boosting customer service with chatbots that can actually solve your problem. They're speeding up marketing, strengthening cybersecurity. The list just goes on and on. It's incredibly diverse. And if you look at who's jumping in first, financial services is leading the pack, which makes sense for things like fraud detection. Healthcare and life sciences are right behind them, using this stuff to speed up research. But look, we're also seeing huge impacts in media, retail, and even the public sector. This is spreading everywhere and fast. So the potential is obviously massive. But it probably leaves you wondering, okay, where do I even start? Well, our final section is going to map out your path to AI and show you how to set the stage for success. Because look, you can't just plug in an LLM and expect magic to happen. Success really starts with a solid data foundation. So step 1, consolidate your data. Get it all into one unified place so the AI has a single source of truth. Step 2, get your governance right. You need clear rules for who can access data and how it's used. And finally, step 3, enable the AI by building an architecture that can actually handle these powerful, complex models. Get that foundation right, and you're ready to build something incredible. And that brings us to the end of our whirlwind tour. We've seen what LLMs are, where they came from, and how they're already changing the world. So now you have the guide, you have the map. The only question left is, how will you tap into their full potential?